All right, welcome back, Bear Down. Bears-Chiefs grades from Thursday's game against the Chiefs, final preseason game. Obviously, the Bears dominated all offseason. Don't know why it shows 3-0, 1-0 away. It ended up being 4-0, but they updated it now later. But the Bears did win 34-21. If you look at the fourth quarter, they were really up 34-7. And then the Chiefs just came back while we were trying to kill timeout. Bears were dominant all preseason, which is great to say, hey, our backups are better than everybody else's backups, and our starters have some shine and some things going on for them. But now it gets down to the season. Now it's time to see what the team is all about as we head into the season. Let's look at the grades from this game to see what we analyze from it. Normally, I give my roster predictions on this afterwards with the news signing in the morning, which kind of delayed this video a little bit. With that news signing of Terrell, this is going to change things a little bit. So I'm going to wait, and I'm going to give my roster prediction tomorrow. I'm going to give my 53-man roster prediction tomorrow. Today we're just going to focus on the grades. So right off the bat, here's our offensive studs of the game. And right off the top, look at the top there, Bill Murray. It's so overshadowed this offseason. He played absolutely awesome again. He has successfully made it the conversion from defensive tackle to offensive guard. He's playing elite. There's no way he doesn't make this roster. That'll be in tomorrow's video, but 58 snaps, 0 pressures whatsoever, 38 pass block opportunities, 28 run block opportunities, high PFF grade on both of them. Doug Kramer played really well at center. Velus Jones obviously had himself a game. Even a couple runs that were brought back because of penalty were big runs as well, but the huge run and overall just played a really good game. DeAndre Carter had a good game at wide receiver. Obviously had the snafu where he got pushed into the punt, and that's considered a fumble, but it's not. I mean, it's not really a fumble. It's a special teams snafu. We're going to call it a snafu. Jake Kierhan did a good job. I don't think he's going to make the roster, but he did have a good game. Simba Webster did a good job. I think he was on the practice squad last year. How does he not make the practice squad this year? Is somebody going to poach him? I don't think so. I think he's just right under that line. Tyson Bagent had a great game. Brennan Bates again had a great game. Tommy Sweeney had a great game. Good game for all these guys. Usually I do 75 and above, but there were so many right in that 70 to 75 range that I did 70 and above on this game. But good offensive game for these guys. When you look at the offensive stars, Tyson Bagent, 72.0 PFF grade, 3 for 6, 57 yards, but a 90.0 adjusted completion percentage. And that to me is more important, and some of that is that connection with Travis Homer. If you were watching me live, his connection with Travis Homer was just off. 2 of them just didn't connect. But other than that, he played really well, and he had the one rushing touchdown where he Superman dove for the end zone. Looked really good. Velus Jones, 77.3 PFF grade, 13 rushes, 111 yards. A couple of them brought back 2. Would have had 130, 140 yards, 2 receptions, 11 yards, and 1 special teams tackle as well. Bill Murray, 58 snaps, 91.3 PFF grade, 100% pass block efficiency, 91.9 run blocking grade, and 85.6 pass blocking grade. Great game for him. I don't know if you could add a better game for a backup offensive lineman trying to make the roster. I had him projected to make the roster before this. This solidifies that. Brennan Bates, who I also think will make the roster as tight end 4, 46 snaps, 70.9 PFF grade, 71.8 special teams grade, which he's been consistently all preseason on special teams and blocking. 70.9 blocking grade, so 2 receptions for 14 yards. So not a big offensive as far as playmaker receptions grades or yards. He didn't have huge yards, but he still played. It's phenomenal. 70 PFF grade on everything. So really a great game for him. As we move over to the offensive duds, there's only a couple that had rough games. Travis Homer, I don't have him making the roster at this point. I didn't before the game. I think this kind of solidifies that. I'd be kind of surprised if we do. Shane Waldron has enjoyed using him. It's just going to be one of those things where it comes down to it. This will be one that I'm going to be kind of upset if he does make the roster. I don't really see the value of him on the roster. There's other players that have stepped up. Ian Wheeler has played just as well as pass blocking, and his special teams ability has been just as good, so we'll see. John Jackson, obviously, with the fumble, didn't help himself. I don't think he was making the roster anyways, but those are our 2 offensive duds with PFF grades of 50 or below. As we move to the defense, our defensive studs, Tavarius Moore, 86.9 PFF grade. Austin Booker, again, relentless, 86.1 PFF grade. Khalid Kareem, Micah Baskerville, Reddy Stewart, obviously with the 2 interceptions. One is a pick 6. Greg Schroman and Daniel Hardy all had good games. And with that, Khalid Kareem, if those who haven't seen, Freddie Swain, who could have been on the injury, I didn't see us keeping him anyways. He was cut as part of the roster moves today. So he was cut from the 90-man roster. And also Khalid Kareem, who had a good game, but he's just in a loaded defensive end room. A guy who just didn't make the cut. So Khalid Kareem cut today. Darrell Taylor, as we know, was signed today. So that's kind of the roster move there. I didn't see Khalid Kareem making the roster anyways. He's had a decent run, but I mean, it's all backup, and it hasn't been anything that's, taken some of the other guys' place. So here's our defensive studs, stars of the game. Daniel Hardy, 29 snaps, 74.5 PFF grade, 4 pressures, 4 tackles, 12.5 pass rush win rate, and 12.5 pressures per snap. That's PFF's grade. It's basically just how often they get pressure. Austin Booker, now check this one out. It's kind of under the radar. Everyone knows Austin Booker's been doing really well, but 3 out of 8, that's a high pass rush win rate. 16 snaps, 86.1 PFF grade, 2 pressures, 1 tackle, but his win rate on those pressures, on those pass rush snaps, on his pass rushes, 37.5%. I get it. It's a limited sample, 16 snaps, 8 of those on the pass rush win rate, and 3 of them successful. That's pretty freaking phenomenal. 37.5 is phenomenal. Small sample, big game though. Really good to see. And pressures 12.5 as well. Pressures per snap. Tavarius Moore, 24 snaps, 86.9 PFF grade, and 5 tackles. So really had a decent game in the backfield there. In the secondary, looked pretty good. Reddy Stewart, though, really the player of the entire game. 45 snaps, 2 interceptions, 1 for that pick 6 for the touchdown. And if you watch the game, his eyes followed the quarterback so well. He was anticipating, he was reading. Matt Eberflus talked about it afterwards, how his footwork was clean and he stepped up properly instead of stepping back. Really, really good to see from Reddy Stewart. I think he's locked up that backup nickel position. Really had a great offseason, and while Kyler Gordon was injured, obviously he was taking reps with the first team. So it really, this could be the undrafted free agent of the year for us. That guy that we find every year, and Reddy Stewart has really stepped out. I did a video on him before, obviously, so worth checking that out. If you haven't checked it out, just search Reddy Stewart in my videos. 2 tackles as well, and 72.8 special teams grade. 78.2 overall PFF grade. So solid game for Reddy Stewart. Really solidified himself on the roster. There's no way he doesn't make the roster, in my opinion. The duds, you hate to see the duds, and you hate to see him doing so well as well. Josh Blackwell had a great game last week. Keith Randolph has really not hit the expectations that I kind of had for him when we signed him as an undrafted free agent. Because I wanted a defensive tackle so bad, I kind of wanted to force us to have an undrafted free agent stud. He just hasn't stepped up to it the entire preseason. He just hasn't looked clean or good. No pressures. Just not doing a good job. 36.1 PFF grade. So kind of let me down. I was hoping to have a big game from him on this game. I was hoping this would be the game he showed something. Didn't expect it, and it just didn't look good. So Ro Torrance as well, Noah Sewell, Josh Blackwell. You hear a lot of people on Twitter saying because Noah Sewell had a little bit of a late game, he was a little behind on everything, that he's a cut candidate. There's no way Noah Sewell's a cut candidate. In fact, if you go to the special teams players of the game, Noah Sewell had the highest special teams grade. He's always a great special teams player, and when he does fill in, he does a good job at linebacker. I'm not worried about Noah Sewell at all. 76.2 PFF grade on special teams. Jonathan Owens, Reddy Stewart, the other special team studs of the games. Limited snaps, I get that, but they all played really well on special teams. I don't know why there's some people talking about Jonathan Owens not making the team too. That's just crazy talk. But anyways, we're not going to get into that in this video too much. On the downside, Doug Coleman, feel bad for him, but there is an update. He is leaving the hospital today, and he does look better. He was given the thumbs up yesterday. I'm really glad. It was scary to watch, so I'm glad he's doing well. Carl Jones Jr., undrafted free agent, bad special teams grade. And some of these guys, especially like Carl Jones Jr., who are fighting for their spot on the roster, need to step up in special teams, and he did not. Terrell Smith, Tavarius Moore, Greg Stroman. Some of that is going to impact some of these guys more than others, but a couple of them, if you watch the game, man, the kick return coverage, the kickoff coverage didn't look good. It just didn't. So hopefully Hightower's on these guys. They're going to improve before the big game in 2 weeks from now, and we'll see how that goes. But not the best special teams outing, in my opinion, from these guys. Playmaker of the game, player of the game, Velus Jones Jr., in my opinion, 77.3 PFF grade. 13 rushes, 111 yards, 2 receptions, 11 yards, and 1 special teams tackle. And obviously had the touchdown run as well. I didn't put that in there, but he did have a long touchdown run. As we move, oopses, had to change that real quick. It's actually Bill Murray, offensive line player of the game. 58 snaps, 91.3 PFF grade, 100% pass block efficiency, 91.9 run blocking grade, 85.6 pass blocking grade. Every single game this preseason, he has been absolutely awesome. and you hear about in camp how he's doing absolutely awesome. I'm really, really excited about him being a backup, giving some solidity if Nate Davis doesn't work out, if there's issues at other spots. He's made that transition from defensive tackle to guard. He looks really solid. I'm really excited that we have him as a backup guard. Really, really good addition to this team. All right, defensive line player of the game, Austin Booker. I can't pass up on that 7.5 pass rush win rate. It's just too good. So even though he played limited snaps in this game compared to other games, he only had 16 snaps. He looked really, really solid. So I have no hesitation giving Austin Booker defensive line player of the game again. On the secondary, this is really the player of the game. This is the entire game player of the game. Reddy Stewart, 45 snaps. Really, every snap, he looked good with anticipation. Looked like he was reading the field really well. Looked like a vet out there. 2 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown for a pick six, 78.2 PFF grade, 2 tackles, and a strong second special teams game as well. So looked really good on the special teams, which as a backup, you're going to have to be on the team. So he looked really good. And then last but not least, Noah Sewell. I don't think the special teams had a great game overall, but on the limited snaps he had the highest rated grade. So I just, by default, gave it to Noah Sewell. But nobody on special teams really stood out to me today. And then here's the schedule for the rest of our offseason. We're coming near the end. The 53-man roster cutdown is coming to August 27th, as I just mentioned. We've obviously had a couple cutdowns already to make room for the trade that happened, but on the 27th, we're going to have the 53-man roster cutdown deadline. That's 4 o'clock Eastern, and then we'll have Hard Knocks a couple hours after that. Then the week after that, Hard Knocks finale for us, the 5th episode, and then the season opener against the Titans. So we're getting there. We're almost ready for some actual football where Caleb gets to take that first win against the Titans. It's going to be a lot of fun to see. So let me know you guys' thoughts. This is how we are as far as the grades. I'm not going to go into the roster on this video, but let me know your guys' thoughts after seeing those grades. Did it change your view of anything? Did you see anybody that made you change a little bit differently? Let me know what your thoughts in the comment. Till next time, claws up, bear down, and thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button if you haven't. Dabears.